Namaskar, myself Dr. Deepti Bisht, Professor, Department of Kai Chikitsa, Faculty of Ayurveda Sciences, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In today's class for BMS 4th year students, I am going to discuss about urticaria. So let's start with the definition. Urticaria, or sometimes called hives, is a kind of skin rashes with red, raised and itchy bumps. They may also burn or sting. Wells or wheal, these are raised areas surrounded by a red base from hives can appear anywhere on the surface of skin. Often there are patches of rashes which move around. Typically they last for few days and do not leave any long-lasting skin changes. Fewer cases, that is about 5% of cases, may last for more than 6 weeks. Cases of short duration occurs equally in males and females, usually lasting for a few days and without leaving any long-lasting skin changes, whereas cases of long duration are more common in females. Cases of short duration are more common among children, while cases of long duration are more common among those who are middle-aged. There is a complex release of inflammatory mediators, including histamine, from cutaneous mast cells, resulting in fluid leakage from superficial blood vessels. So, wells may be pinpoint in size or several inches in diameter. A few terms before moving forward. Urticarial vasculitis. This type of urticarial reaction is a serious condition. Here the hives which are produced are usually very painful and they may last for more than 24 hours or can leave a bruise as they heal. Second one is dermatographic urticaria. It is a benign condition in which hives caused by stroking the skin. You can done it on your skin too, or in winter time, sometimes we observe it. So whenever skin is stroked, often linear in appearance, then there is appearance of some wheals and flares. It is one of the most common types of urticaria in which skin becomes raised and inflamed when stroked, scratched, rubbed, and sometimes even slapped. The next term is angioedema. Angioedema is an area of edema or localized swelling of the lower layer of skin and tissue just under the skin of mucous membrane, and this swelling may occur in face, tongue, larynx, abdomen, arms, or legs. Often it is associated with hives which are swelling within the upper skin. The onset is over minute to hours. So this is a condition of urticaria. Now we will discuss about the causes. There are various causes. One of them is medication. Some drugs that have caused allergic reactions evidenced as hives include codeine, Dextro, amitaphene, aspirin, ibuprofen, penicillin, cotrimazole, sulfonamide, anticonvulsants, paracetamol, vaccines, and some anti-diabetic drugs like sulfonylurea and glimepiride. Besides these, there are many more drugs, but some commonly used drugs which can cause urticarial reactions are mentioned here. Next important cause is food. Most common food allergies in adults are shellfish and nuts. The most common food allergies in children are mostly due to shellfish, nuts, eggs, wheat, and soy. Less common cause is exposure to certain bacteria such as Streptococcus species or possibly Helicobacter pylori. Some infections are also responsible for causing urticarial reactions. So hives including chronic spontaneous Hives can be a complication and symptom of a parasitic infection such as blastocytosis or strongyloiditis. Now, there are some cases where urticaria appears on pressure or delayed pressure process. This type of hive can occur as a deferred response to sustained pressure being enforced to the skin. The hives only appear after about 6 hours from the initial application of pressure to the skin and may last from 8 hours to 3 days. Source of pressure on the skin can happen from tight-fitting clothing, belts, clothing with tough straps, walking, leaning against an object, standing, sitting on a hard surface, etc. And areas of body most commonly affected are usually hands, feet, trunk, abdomen, buttocks, legs, and face. Then another cause is cholinergic or stress. Cholinergic urticaria is one of the physical urticaria which is provoked during certain events such as exercises, bathing, staying in a heated environment, or sometimes emotional stress. The hives produced here are typically small and are generally short lasting. There are also urticaria due to cold induction. The cold type of urticaria is caused by exposure of the skin to extreme cold, damp, and windy conditions. It occurs usually in two forms. The rare form is hereditary and becomes evident as hives all over the body appears 9 to 18 hours after the cold exposure, whereas in common form of cold urticaria, the onset is rapid and the hives are usually seen on face, neck, or hands just after exposure to cold. Cold urticaria is common and lasts for an average of 5 to 6 years, and the population most affected is young adults, usually between 18 and 25 years old. Then there is solar urticaria. This form of disease occurs on areas of the skin exposed to sun, and condition becomes evident within minutes of exposure. You have noticed that some persons get very easily flushed on their faces, on their palms, or on their shoulder, arm areas after getting exposed to uh, high sun rays. Water-induced urticaria. This type of urticaria is also termed rare and occurs upon contact with water, and this response is not temperature dependent, and therefore it is different from the cold-induced urticaria. Skin appears similar to cholinergic form of disease. Appearance of hives is within 1 to 15 minutes of contact with the water and can last from 10 minutes to 2 hours. Now, pathophysiology of urticaria. The skin lesions of urticarial disease are caused by an inflammatory reaction in the skin that cause leakage of capillaries in the dermis and resulting in an edema, which persists until the interstitial fluid is absorbed into the surrounding cells. Hives are caused by the release of histamine and other mediator of inflammation like cytokines from cells in the skin. This process can be the result of an allergic or non-allergic reaction differing in the eliciting mechanism of histamine release. Now, allergic hives. Histamine and other pro-inflammatory substances are released from mast cells in the skin and tissue in response to the binding of allergen-bound Ig antibodies to high-affinity cell surface receptors. Basophils and other mediators are also responsible for this. In case of autoimmune hives, this type of hives is the result of an autoimmune trigger. People with chronic urticaria spontaneously develop autoantibodies directed at the receptor located on skin mast cells. Chronic stimulation of this receptor leads to chronic hives thereafter. People with hives often have other autoimmune conditions associated, mostly such as autoimmune thyroiditis, celiac disease, type 1 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and systemic lupus erythema. Infections. Hive-like rashes commonly accompany viral illnesses such as common cold. They usually appear 3 to 5 days after the cold has started and may even appear few days after the cold has resolved. This is rare kind of urticaria. Then there are non-allergic hives. Mechanisms other than allergen antibody reactions are known to cause histamine release from mast cells in such cases. Many drugs, for example morphine, can induce direct histamine release, not involving any immunoglobulin molecule. Now, stress and chronic idiopathic hives. Pathology behind this has been linked to stress. A large body of evidence demonstrates an association between this condition and both poor emotional well-being and reduced health-related quality of life is related here. There is an association between a stressful life event and chronic idiopathic urticaria, and also an association between post-traumatic stress and chronic idiopathic hives. So stress is a very strong factor for origin of urticaria. Diagnosis. Diagnosis is typically based on the appearance. The cause of chronic hives can rarely be determined. Patch testing may be useful to determine the allergy. In some cases, regular extensive allergy testing over a long period of time is requested in hopes of getting new insight, but it is usually failed. So regular allergy testing for people with chronic hives is not recommended. Now, acute urticaria versus chronic urticaria. Acute urticaria is defined as the presence of evanescent wheals which completely resolve within 6 weeks. This type of urticaria becomes evident a few minutes after the person has been exposed to an allergen. Outbreak may last several weeks, but usually hives are gone in 6 weeks, and the hives are usually a reaction to food in about half of cases, and trigger is unknown in rest cases. Common foods may be the cause, as well as bee or wasp stings or skin contact with certain fragrances. These all may be the cause of acute urticaria. Acute viral infection is another common cause of acute urticaria. In cases of chronic urticaria, which is also called ordinary urticaria, it is defined as the presence of evanescent wheals which persist for greater than 6 weeks. Some of the more severe chronic cases have lasted more than 20 years. So if we want to visually distinguish them, then it is impossible. Usually these are visually indistinguishable. Now the management part. The mainstay of therapy for both acute and chronic hives is education, avoiding the triggers, and using antihistaminics at right time. Chronic hives can be difficult to treat and lead to significant disability. Unlike the acute form, 50 to 80% of people with chronic hives have no unidentifiable triggers, but 50% of people with chronic hives will experience remission. Now the stepwise treatment for urticaria or hives. Step 1 consists of second generation H1 receptor blocking antihistaminics. Systemic glucocorticoids can also be used for episodes of severe disease, but they should not be used for long term due to their long list of side effects. Then step 2, it consists of increasing the dose of current antihistamine, adding other antihistamines, or adding a leukotriene receptor antagonist such as montelukast. Step 3, here adding or replacing the current treatment with hydroxyzine or doxepin is done when step 1 and step 2 treatment do not respond. If the individual doesn't respond to step 1 to 3, then they are considered to have refractory symptoms. At this point, anti-inflammatory medications like Dapsone, sulfasalazine, immunosuppressants like cyclosporine, sirolimus, or other medications like omalizumab can be used. So, the important drugs employed in urticaria are antihistaminics, systemic steroids, leukotriene receptor antagonists, and in others include anti-inflammatory medications, omalizumab, and immunosuppressants. Potential anti-inflammatory agents include dexone, sulfasalazine, hydroxychloroquine. Immunosuppressants used for chronic urticaria include cyclosporine, tacrolimus, sirolimus, and mycophenolate. So this was all about the urticaria. Hope you liked the session. If you have any query, you can drop your query in portal. So goodbye. Have a nice day.